following show contains adult content. It's not our intent to offend anyone, but we want to inform you that if you are a child under the age of 18 or get offended easily, this next show may not be for you. The content, opinions, and subject matter of these shows are solely the choice of your show hosts and their guests, and not those of the Entertainment Network or any affiliated stations. Any comments or inquiries should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for listening.
What's up, everybody?
What's going on?
Hey, it's Roxy and
Antman, what's going on, girl? How are you?
oh, I'm exhausted. It's been a long weekend. Did reptile shows this weekend, so what's up? IMS in the house.
Yeah, what's going on, Carl? Everybody up there.
What'd you do this weekend?
Oh man, just getting everything planned out for a new flower bed garden and stuff like that, and just making use of some property that's just been an eyesore for a minute. So
There you go. Good weekend for that. Nice weather.
yeah,
Eliminated the rain for the weekend for us.
man, I didn't realize like how much rain we've had recently until I was looking in my yard and where like water sits for an expended amount of time.
My basement can tell you how much rain we've gotten because it will flood if we have too much rain. I have that riverbed in front of me, so yeah, it leaks in sometimes. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we did a giveaway last week, right?
We did. We did.
And look what I got here.
Nice.
Yeah, so everybody who left a comment, I wrote their names down and we put it in. So who's ready for the drawing?
All right. I'm ready when you are.
So this drawing consists of a $25 Amazon gift card, as well as Life After This has donated some merch. So they've got a Life After This shirt, a wristband, a shot glass, and an album, one of their albums. So
hell yeah.
Dun, dun. So we'll go through this here. This is exciting. Okay. And of course I use sticky notes, so they're all stuck together. Next time I'm definitely using the Facebook, like that app that they use. So right there.
Nancy Weems, huh?
Nancy Weems, yeah. So everybody who left a comment last week got entered in. So I think I wrote her name down at least like 60, 70 times. So Nancy Weems, we will be in contact with you for your winnings, $25 gift card and Life After This merch. So are you in the house, Nancy?
Yeah, she'll be messaging me like early in the morning. Hey, how about that merch pack?
Who else is in here?
Mr. Dale Robinson was going on.
Yeah, I wrote Dale's name down a lot for it too. He had a lot of comments. So love you, Dale. You're amazing.
So we're going to give shout outs to everybody on all the platforms, but unfortunately some of the Facebook users and some of the people that are not giving permission to StreamYard to show your name, we won't be able to give you verbal credit for your name, but we're going to shout your comments out. And want to apologize right out the gate because last week we did miss some questions and some comments and some people. We don't want anybody to feel like we didn't exclude them. It was flying by last week, so we apologize.
Yeah, we still love all of you, and we appreciate your comments, and we love you being here with us, growing into the scene with all the changes that's been happening. So definitely appreciate it so much.
Yeah, man. So we got a fun night tonight, huh?
Yes, we do.
a little Easter egg throughout this show as well. I'm not going to say anything else about it. I'm going to let you play ball with however you choose to do this, but I love when a game is afoot. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's a game, definitely a game. So need your ears open for this one here. So it's definitely a game, and we're going to give hints throughout the show. And you are to find something that's been placed within our show. And you got to listen carefully for all these hints. And this one's kind of hard. So this one is going to be a $50 gift card to Amazon. That's big because this is kind of a difficult game. So make sure you're listening for those cues, those hints. First hint is definitely it's hidden in the show. That's the first hint. Hidden within the show. And we'll put little hints here and there sprinkled throughout the show so elegantly.
Can I put one in there? I know, but you don't know.
I know something you don't know. All right, so before we announce our guest tonight, I need everybody to know RA Nation, the Facebook group. Go, like, and be a member. Share your input, please. We love your feedback. Go to Music Familia on YouTube and make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And also with W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, because those are sponsors, and that's what's making us here for you today and helping us grow together into this industry as one. And IMS, RA Nation. Woo, woo.
Thank you, IMS. Always an awesome supporter, man. Thank you guys so much. The whole team's badass for sure.
They are badass for sure. So tonight, dun, 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 we need a drum roll. Discrepancies. Discrepancies is so amazing. Let me tell you, first time I heard them, I was instantly just taken by surprise. They've incorporated this rock hip hop kind of a genre, and I hate to put music in a genre. They've totally rewrote the books on that. They've incorporated some amazing different styles to what they got going on. So it's 4-man group, and they put out some albums here recently. I need you to go check them out. So it's discrepancies.com. They've done some huge festivals. That's a big feat in itself.
Yeah.
Talk about that once they get on. And so without further ado, I got to bring them on, They're the star of the show tonight. So we got Garrett and Antonio from Discrepancies.
Whoa!
Hey,
What's up? Woo.
Guys?
What's up? What's up?
So let's start off with, I was going to read a little bio from you guys, but I've already talked to you guys. I've done an interview with you guys before. I've gotten to know you outside of the music world. But can you share with our audience on how you got started on mixing this genre together, how you did this?
We did not want to. Addison and I actually wanted to be like legitimately, like we wanted to be more like a prog band, like something in the realm of like North Lane and like that metal realm. And we just could not find anybody like vocal wise that we really meshed well with. And we couldn't find a drummer that could play anything near what we were trying to do. So at the time, Antonio and I actually worked together, and he conned me into buying one of his mixtapes at the time. And I listened to it, and it was actually like super great. So we like got to talking one day about music. And at the time, like the project I was in wasn't really doing anything. So I was like, how do you feel about just trying to like rap over, like what Addison and I are doing? And then, so we kind of started playing around with that. Antonio knew somebody who played bass who helped us at the time. And we wrote the first song ever, which was Get Hype, in a abandoned house, pretty much, that barely had any power. And yeah, that's where we practiced, and it was pretty rad. So that's kind of how it happened. It wasn't intentional by any means. And I hope I'm sorry if I'm messing up a future question, but that's kind of where the name comes from as well, is just that, we took these genres that we didn't really intend and we didn't really think we're going to mesh, and kind of did that with it. So
Yeah.
that you did well with for sure. So, unknowingly, you created a product that was so obscure yet so phenomenal that I mean, you couldn't help but run with it, right? You just
Sure.
that Get Hype.
Yeah.
Get Hype's one of my favorite ones. It's always been.
Thank you.
What were some of the immediate challenges you guys knew right off the bat you were gonna face?
Ooh.
Great question.
That is a great question. I guess my first. Yeah, it's all, I remember my first question, like to the band, was who's gonna sing. I'm like, I was like, we need a singer. Who's gonna sing? And then Addison was like, I'm gonna sing. And then I laughed like in his face, like, and then found out he's actually a phenomenal singer later on. And I ate my words, but it's all good because he didn't want me in the band either. So.
Yeah. No, I thought our biggest obstacle, honestly, was just going to be getting everybody on the same page, like to do like honestly like shows and stuff like that. Because when we first started doing shows, most bands when they first start out, it's awkward on stage. Everybody's getting to feel each other and like you have practices, but it's very different when you're in a live setting. And like I knew that was going to be one of our biggest obstacles. But fortunately, I felt like that's something that did naturally blend really well. And like even over time, as we've had member changes, that's something that I do feel like we've been really fortunate to kind of just mesh in that realm. Like, don't you agree, Antonio? I feel like our first show, man, at the Mad Magician, that was a pretty vibey show. That was a pretty cool show.
It was awesome. It was. Dang, I think that was our first and only show in that
Good
venue.
Show.
Yeah, like that venue closed down after that, but but it was
not because of that show.
Yeah. Probably had something to do with you could see like the toilet in the men's bathroom from the stage. Like if somebody was pooing, you could make eye contact with them from the stage. It was great. But
sound is not an issue in places like that.
Right.
So you guys start out and it's different for you guys. And what was that song that really put you over the top? And how did that song come about?
I would say it was. I would say "Get Hype" because like that was the first song they like let me hear, and I think I like went home with it that night and started writing to it, and and when I say like they sent it to me, I'm pretty sure it was like a phone recording or something like that.
I literally blew the speakers out on my phone recording it because I put my phone under a pillow next to my drum set and played the drums, and the microphone literally blew out on the phone. So part of it is literally just like this terrible noise. But hey, man, it filled the space.
Yeah, and I took it to my like little ghetto studio and rapped over it and sent it back to him, and we somehow it sounded like it was something like if this sounds good like this, like I can just imagine like when we actually record it. So
yeah,
we knew we kind of had something special. Yeah,
I bumped that demo a lot. That's for sure. Sounded terrible.
So moving forward, you guys progressed rather quickly. You were getting millions of streams within the first month or two of putting out songs. You did some albums. So moving forward, how were you then now as you were then?
Well, okay, so if you don't mind, I got to rewind that a little bit. So we definitely did not have like a major lift off. Like we did the EP first, which is where Get Hype was kind of born. And then we did The Awakening in 2014, or I'm sorry, in 2016, excuse me, which was 2 years after. And that album was kind of like our launching point. We got on this YouTube channel called Space on Travel, which basically is like a massive rock playlist on YouTube for just a ton of bands.
I work with them. I work with them on my podcast.
Great people. They have a great channel. They seem to be super rad. They've always been super nice to us. And we've intentionally, even when we signed to a label, made a point that we could always send them our videos because they've always just been such good people. But that being said, at the time, they were not a big channel. And so we were just sending anybody who would take our music, basically the music. And at the time, the the Awakening had basically just come out, and we had done it all independently initially. So we just wanted any type of person to just give us the time of day. Like we would go to work, go to Best Buy, buy 100 CDs, buy these colored cases, print out these pieces of paper, burn demos, go to venues till like 3 a.m. And then we would go back to work the next day and then go to Best Buy. Like we did that for like 3 years. Like it sucked. And, that was really like our launching point in St. Louis. And when we landed on that YouTube channel as well, that YouTube channel started to kind of go viral at the time. And that made a few of our songs at the time start to explode. And that made our Spotify numbers go from like 100 monthly listeners to like 5,000 monthly listeners, then to like 10,000 monthly listeners. And then Spotify started paying attention and they would put us on playlists. And they kind of just, the two of them kind of fueled themselves without us having to do much with them, because
like a domino effect. Like.
Exactly. So like, that's kind of like how it went. And like, you know, it definitely took a long time, like for us to hit the 1 million streams. So I just want to make sure that like that, that part is clear. It was not a quick thing, but yeah.
Hey.
But, you know, I had to steal that so that we could like recognize. You know?
Oh yeah. No, I appreciate that.
Yeah, that was a momentous point for me as well, knowing that you guys were just blowing up and doing so well. Yeah, we were incredibly excited, and still to this day, like it feels it doesn't feel real a lot of times. Like I'm like we're not playing massive arenas or anything, but like, you know, 100,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, like I feel very proud of that. I mean, I'm sure Antonio feels the same, even though he's got his mic muted right now. But yeah.
My son's making too much noise. I'm trying not to yell at him.
So your son, you guys, Antonio, you're a family man, and Addison just had a baby a year and a half ago. Is that right? How does that take into play? You guys having the family life?
We'll leave them in hot cars with the windows.
Oh my god!
I don't have kids.
Right. That's hilarious. No, for me, it's like motivation. Addison's he's newer. You know, he's a new dad. So, I mean, I'm sure it's the same way for him as well too. It's funny because we'll be like on band calls together, and his son 2, or is he almost 2?
I think he's 2 now.
You can hear him just like destroying the house in the background, and just his maniacal like little laugh and stuff, and just stuff falling all over. And Zach's always like, "Will you shut that thing up?" Like talking and then Addison like has to threaten Zach, and it becomes a whole thing. But I think it's pretty awesome though. My son's been in like maybe 4 of our videos. I think we like sneak him in there every chance we get.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Trying to get him prepared for that Hollywood life.
Right.
So what got each of you guys into music to begin with?
I'll let you go first.
You want me to go first? What got me into music? So my uncles were like, my uncle was in a rap band, and they were like kind of taking off a little bit. They got like some radio play and stuff. And to me, that was like the coolest thing in the world. They're like, cause like I can hear my like somebody I know on the radio and stuff, like was so cool to me. And they actually took me to the studio with them before. So I got to kind of see the process at a really young age. And it kind of inspired me to write a little bit. I was really young. I was probably like 10, 11 or something like that. He was in a group with a rapper with Chingy. And there was like a 3-man rap group before Chingy ended up taking off. And then so I kind of wrote a little bit and I let them hear it a little bit. And then I kind of stopped for a while, didn't think too much of it. And honestly, I probably started rapping again around high school, maybe like junior year or something like that. Whenever 8 Mile came out, I remember us, like me and my friends used to rap battle each other at the bus stops. whenever 8 Ball came out, and still undefeated to this day. I'm not a battle rapper at all, but I was the nicest on that block. But which was it's not saying much. But yeah, that was like kind of another thing. And then I started rapping a little bit then, but I never really took it too seriously. And then I kind of just I've been off and on with it for probably my whole life. And I really, really started getting back into it around 2011, I would say, maybe 2010. And I actually started recording and rapping from there.
So, did you ever see yourself with a rock band?
No, absolutely not. Honestly, what's funny is like even when Garrett came to me and was like, "Hey, you ever thought about mixing it up with like a rock band?" In my head, the first thing that popped in my head was Gym Class Heroes, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that'll be dope."
Addison and I with ukuleles.
That's what I pictured. That was not what happened at all. But it's still, yeah, man. That's actually what I had pictured initially, but it was actually exciting. Like we kind of created our own thing, I think, and really, really dope.
You definitely did create your own thing, and I got to tell our listeners that it's rap, it's rock. They will get you guys up off of your seat. You'll be headbanging. You'll be like, it's moving music, and you're deep at the same time. You have some music that's so deep. I remember I turned on to Make Me Love You to a friend of mine, and he literally shed tears to me. But then I was like, oh, we got to change it up. So here's Rock the Show. And he's like, oh, yeah. And he loved it.
Yeah.
So there's so much to you guys. There's layers. I love that about you.
That's something that I actually didn't want to have for a long time. Believe it or not, Antonio can vouch for this, but on our first album, I was like, every song just has to be balls to the wall. It just has to be a banger. Hype as absolutely can be. Like, that's what it has to be. And him and Addison were like, nah, man, we got to mix it up a little bit. It's important to have the other stuff. And I'm like, nah, we're only going to have like 10 or 12 songs. We got to have nothing but punch people in the face so we can get some attention, and then we can hit them with the slow stuff later.
Right.
So, but no, I mean, looking back on it, I'm glad we did personally. So. And still now, like with the Rise, we try to mix it up. I mean, I feel like a lot of the songs sound very different from song to song, and that's 100% intentional. It's not supposed to sound,
Yeah.
just like the next song is the exact same song you just heard,
Yeah.
So now you bring up the Rise. So now we got to touch base on the Rise. And you guys had already recorded and gotten everything ready, and then the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
How did that affect you guys?
You want to go?
Here's the album.
I'll let you take this one.
Hence, this Easter egg.
This one is kind of it's kind of tough because for us in the beginning, we kind of, nobody really knew what to expect, right? We were all just kind of under the anticipation that like we were looking at like 3 to 6 months max, like extreme max. So we were like, great, we're going to plan for album launch in fall, and we will just fill this whole year up to that point by doing music videos and whatever else, because we do honestly, we're one of those bands that kind of does most of our stuff in-house. Like, while we may not always be carrying the camera, like we always use the same videographer. He's one of our close friends. He's in all of our group chats. I mean, like, he knows what's going on with the band. It's probably more than we do half the time, to be honest with you. So we just basically focused on what singles are most important to us this time around, and we just kind of really focused on what we could do digital media wise and like for content online and stuff like that. And then over time, we just we ultimately had to put out the album, but we didn't really know what to expect. And obviously, as COVID continued, it's kind of a bummer because like even still now, we haven't really been able to do like a CD release show or like a major like true celebration of like the release of the album. And so I don't know. It's just kind of to be honest with you, I don't know if Antonio feels this way, but half the time, like I listened to that album so many times because we had it recorded for so long. So, but I still feel like it's like it didn't get fully released. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of times that like the album still isn't fully out and like I'm just listening to it, but I don't know. Clearly other people enjoy it. It's got plenty of listens, but I'm just like, I don't know. Sometimes I still think that way because it's just a weird, I don't know, it's a weird thing to accept in a way, I
Like
guess.
the pieces weren't put together properly.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody has this norm of you put out an album and you go tour and
Right.
you represent your music, and definitely the pandemic has destroyed that. And I totally get where you're coming from. I've never put out an album myself, but I get where you're coming from.
Sure.
I think for a lot of the artists and bands like who didn't have preparation coming into the pandemic or didn't have any plans, really probably sat around for the first couple of months thinking like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? What do I do? And the bands that had a tight communication line, everybody was coming up with ideas. Everybody's using their phones. So like, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Like, even though you were apart, you are still together. And
Right.
I think that's where you're seeing now a lot of the bands that we would have known, like the errors are starting to show through the ink on the paper, So the real ones are still standing tall, and the ones that are thought they were are just like way behind now.
That's true. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah.
What do you guys on a scale to 9,401? How good is your new single compared to your last one?
How good is the new album compared to the last one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 9,401. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean that's probably an opinion piece, but I personally have listened to this album probably 10 times as many times as I listened to The Awakening, and that album's been out for 4-6 years longer. I like The Awakening a lot. It's one of those albums that I'm really proud of, and I felt like it really helped define the fact that like we weren't just every generic rap rock band, I guess, even though sometimes we still get lumped into that because people are like, oh, it's rapping and it's rock, so you're just like every other band. I felt like The Awakening really helped us kind of define that, and then The Rise, we just kind of were like, this is what we want to do. So to me, I enjoy it more because it's like I really enjoyed making the album, and it's one of those ones where like every one of the songs I have good memories of, and I don't know, I enjoyed that album a lot. I think the songs honestly they sound like they've evolved more from The Awakening to me. But
yeah, I agree, definitely. Especially, man, my favorite. I hope I'm not messing up a future question too, but like, Control is such a banger, man. It's like,
Yeah, Control is pretty awesome.
yeah, making that song is like one of my favorite like memories.
Why is that? Why? I want to hear what made it so memorable for you.
So I believe the night before I went into the studio to do Control, I opened up for Tech Nine at one of my favorite venue, Pops in St. Louis. So that's like our hometown venue. So like I just was riding off the high of like Tech Nine is my number 2 rapper in the whole entire world. So like I just got to open up for my idol. And the night was like amazing. It was dope. The crowd response was amazing. But I had to get up early the next day to go in the studio and track. Like it was my turn to go in there. And I don't know if anybody else was in there with me besides me and the producer, me and Matt. But it was like early morning, and I just smashed like a Red Bull, and I was like, let's go. And then he turned it on, and that boom, and I was just so hyped so early in the morning. Like, and we like almost one taked everything. Like it didn't take us long to knock that song out at all. And we were both sitting there listening to it, just like vibing out so hard so early in the morning. Just, it's like good time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it. So yeah, you do your own side project, AntonioTheGreat.com. So make sure everybody checks that out as well. That's pretty awesome. You're a family man, and you got Discrepancies, and then you have Antonio the Great, where you do your own side projects. So tip my hat to you.
Thank you.
So I want to give the listeners a little bit of taste of what you guys are about. So I'm going to pull a music video from your newest album, Rise. the one that you've been promoting a lot here recently. And I'm going to play that for everybody. So is there anything you want listeners to know before I play it? Like how the making was, or
which video?
For Crawling Back to You.
Oh, okay. That was fun too. That was a lot of fun. What would you tell them about Crawling Back, Gary?
I don't know, because I did not have anything to do with writing the story of this video.
I remember we goofed off a lot, like behind the scenes while Addison and like was doing his takes. I remember that. I remember laughing hysterically because just us being goofballs on the set, like we can't do anything, take anything seriously. It's such a serious song. It's such a serious song.
This is one of the only time that we've ever hired people to actually like act and like help us produce a real video. And the people that we had, like the team that made it, was amazing. The two of them are like the best team. I recommend them to anybody and everybody for most projects. Like we love them, and like they helped us get a home that was like empty at the time for remodeling to use. It was awesome. So this is one of our more professional videos. So thanks to John Fleischman and Priscilla Runyon. Shout out to them.
All right, here it is, guys. This is Crawling Back by Discrepancies.
It isn't hard to see. If you take your heart from me, you'll take my everything. And I can't keep crawling back.
And the words I say to you get mistaken as usual. We ain't vibing like we used to. Communication is crucial. I'm losing my mind, trying to find wherever we lost touch. If we deny nature's design, what will it cost us? But I love your essence, even through all the stress. And I find myself counting seconds till I can be in your presence. Cause our time is precious, but it puts us through the test. It seems arguing over nothing and complaining about everything. Sorry I broke your heart, that was never my intent. Just know I'd rather let you go than to ever let you down again.
It isn't hard to see. If you take your heart from me, you'll take my everything. And I can't keep crawling. Something pulls me back to you. And I can't keep crawling back to you. I can't keep crawling back.
Come to think, I was the one who said I hate you first. I never meant it, only said it just to make you hurt. Maybe we should take a break, maybe we could break the curse. Then we'll try it once again, but it only makes it worse. Where you been at? Who you been with? Who you been talking to? Cause the truth hurts, but the unknown is haunting you. In a fight without the hope to win, because we break up, make up, now we're at each other's throats again. Sorry I broke your heart, that was never my intent. Just know I'd rather let you go than to ever let you down again. Cause there's no one on this planet that can ever take your place. But growing up is understanding that your heart is gonna break. And oftentimes the right decision is the hardest one to make.
It isn't hard to see. If you take your heart from me, you'll take my everything. And I can't keep crawling. Something pulls me back to you. And I can't keep crawling back to you. I can't keep crawling back. your heart from me. You'll take my everything, and I can't keep crawling back.
Woo! Certified banger.
That's deep for sure. That song blows me away. As long as many others do. You guys have a wide variety of things that you do. As like I said earlier, as far as from like Get Hype to Make You Love Me, you're in between in so many ways, and you guys create some amazing music. So I want everybody to get out there and check you guys out.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate that.
One of the questions from one of the YouTube chat questions was, what was your ATG? What is your first #1 rapper?
First, okay. Now, #1 goes back and forth between two people. It depends on the day and the album release. So it's either Eminem or Lupe Fiasco, depending on who put out the most recent project or the mood that I'm in at the time. So I would say right now it'd be Eminem because he put out the most recent project. But Lupe is a project away from being the #1 guy again. Like, it just depends.
Love it.
Yep. 2 Tech 9 and 3 I would say
MGK.
Oh my god. Royce 5'9". Yeah.
So I want to revisit some history with you guys. Are you ready to do that?
Let's do it.
Sure,
Okay.
yeah.
Before I do that, I want to give another hint away for this Easter egg. So it is an album, the newest album, Rise, from Discrepancies, and it is placed inside the show. So you might want to go to the RA Nation podcast group and check out the promo video that we put up there to see if you can find it. But their video, their album cover is placed very discreetly. So if you want that $50 Amazon gift card, make sure you go and try and find the album cover for Rise. But to touch base on some history, I got some video or some pictures here that I want to put up. So you guys want to kind of touch base on some pictures? Like story time. Here we go.
Uh-oh.
All right. What is this? Tell me about this. They got some air.
Yeah. That's Steph. All right, so that's Daddison. We call him Daddison. Man, he got up there. What show is this? Is this our
I think this is the live stream.
The stream? Okay.
Yep.
Jesus, man. That guy, man.
That's a Keith Break photo for
Right.
sure.
Keith
Yeah,
Break?
Absolutely, yeah.
We did a live stream during COVID, and it's still on YouTube. So if you're bored tonight, you got nothing else to do after this, go check that out.
Us out.
Yeah, it's about an hour long. We did like 15 songs or something like that, and it was completely free because we knew that like a lot of bands were like trying to do something at the time just to do what they could, and we just wanted to do something to honestly give back to people who we had supported us for so long, and we knew a lot of people were in a tough situation last year, so we were like, we're just going to do a free stream. So we did that, and it's still up, and you can watch it, and that's one of the photos.
So that's something that you guys did to kind of keep yourselves above float during the pandemic, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of like it was almost in a way like our album release, I would say, but I mean, sort of. Just like, I guess that was our first show after releasing the album.
Well,
I guess that's
rough.
true.
Yeah, that's got to be rough to try and do it virtually instead of live. But you guys nailed it. I watched that, and it was so amazing. So everybody should go check that out. How about this one? Ooh, that's a beautiful pic. Oh, love it.
I think this is also a Pops, but I think this might have been one of the different headliners, maybe. This is
Addison's always wearing those damn overalls, so I can't tell what show it is.
He does wear them a lot. Be matching his kid.
Addison.
Yeah. That wasn't the live stream? That was a different show? It looked like the live stream. Like
Which
another the picture we just saw. It looked like another picture from the live stream.
At Pops.
It's at Pops. Yeah, that's where we did the live stream at. Yeah.
Yeah, we do a lot of shows at Pops, so I don't know. I guess I wouldn't be able to tell you. But I can't see his drum head in the photo. That would tell me the difference. Because if it was the Fresh Prince one, I would know if it was September of 2019, and if it was not that, it would be the live stream.
I don't see anybody in the crowd, so that makes me think it's the. I can't see any crowd members. That's what makes me think it's a live stream.
So Pop is in your area. What area are you guys from?
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
Yeah. We're in St. Louis.
On the other side of the bridge.
You travel. You guys have been on the road and you've traveled. You've done music festivals and some insatiable tours. So look at this. You guys are
oh my God.
Living in the van. I remember you guys picked on Zach a lot.
We still do.
Yeah.
He's just not
Nothing
here.
has changed.
Zach's the drummer. He's over there on the right hand side. And you guys you made it fun for him for sure.
Yeah.
Shorts.
This photo is the most bittersweet photo ever. We were so thankful to be packing up and like to be done because Warped Tour is so brutal, but we were also so bummed at the same time because we were packing up to be done and the tour wasn't done. Like we only got to do like a week or so of it. And we still had some shows after this that we did on the way home, which ended up being awesome. We got to play a casino and stuff like that, but
yeah,
it was very bittersweet in this photo. Even Zach's cheesing with his little smile over there, but the rest of us, you can kind of tell, are like both worn out and bumming at the same time. Like,
I don't know what's going on with my legs. I always think that's what I look at. It looks like I'm running sideways.
Going like this.
That's funny. What's the most memorable tour story that you have to share with our listeners?
The most memorable tour story, man. We can't tell the Mawson story again, so that has to get passed on. We've told that story way too many times. You know, Antonio, you gotta go first, man.
That's so tough, man. I'm trying to think. There's like the most memorable. Oh my gosh, probably the after party. Denver. That's where the after party was, right? So like after the Warped Tour, after the show in Denver, right outside of, what was it called, the Pepsi Center, I want to say? Is that where?
Yeah.
In Denver? Okay. So yeah, they had like this huge tent and they were throwing like an after party with all the bands and there were some fans and stuff in there. They were barbecuing. There was like, who was DJing? Was it 303? I want to say was DJing. Yep. And like, I don't know, it was just cool just like having all these bands and stuff all around and just people over here like playing cards or shooting dice or whatever. And just, I don't know, just the whole environment was crazy. And it went from being like almost nobody in there to it being jam-packed.
It was like a parking lot.
Yeah.
Back in a parking lot.
It was definitely a lot of fun. Man, what is the most? I don't know what like the most memorable thing. I remember seeing somebody pass out in front of us in Denver too.
I was gonna say there's all kinds of crazy stories I can think of, but you know what? The most memorable one I have is from when we did our first ever DIY tour. We played at this house in Boston with some really awesome people. And they were super great hosts, but like we played in a basement and it was like obnoxiously loud. I felt terrible for the people that were like there to observe because like there is no way that they had hearing left when they left the venue. Yeah. But while we were there, this guy, he performed and it is like, it's a very memorable experience. It's just like a crazy story, but the dude basically like painted himself and his entire body in like this reflective silver and like had like a loop pedal set up and he just started playing this like, I don't know, just like droning, interesting music that really felt like he was legitimately hypnotizing everybody in the room. And it was
it was just him on bass. And he was literally him. I felt like I was hypnotized because I'm like, I'm grown as hell and I'm sitting crisscross applesauce in front of this dude, like looking up like a child. Like he's just sitting there playing the bass and like painted in silver. Dude, I could not take my eyes off this guy. Like,
it was an experience.
Room. Yeah, it was really weird, man. Shout out to Boston.
Yeah.
Boston.
Yeah. Oh, I'm dying. That's too funny.
I took a shower afterwards. It was that intense. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah. It was funny is like there was I feel like it was a bunch of dudes that lived in that house because it was kind of like a mess, but there was like one female that lived in there too, and they very obviously had separate bathrooms. And like some of the guys like went to use the guys' bathroom, which was a mess, which was terrible, and the girls' bathroom was right next to it, and it was pristine, like the cleanest bathroom ever. And I remember like, hey, don't tell the guys about this bathroom, because like, like this is gonna be ours. Forget them. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's a good time. They let us. I think we crashed there that night, right?
I think so.
Yeah. I think
they were super cool people.
I bet you crashed at some crazy places. Knowing that you're living in a van and going on tour, I'm sure you accept some pretty weird places to stay at just because it's a bed or something, you know?
Oh yeah, our first tour, I slept on a sleeping bag on the roof of the van, and it rained 51 out of 60 days. It sucked. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Oh man,
that was rough. But you know, like now in our van, we built bunk beds, and we don't have any seats as like that's the price you pay, unfortunately, because we don't do it with a trailer to keep our costs very low overhead. We try to be smart. So we took seats out, put bunk beds in. So people who do sit in the back, unfortunately, have to lay down. But you know what? It's so much better than having to lay on the roof while it's raining. So I don't complain ever.
So in my memories, I want to touch base with you guys with the memories because I've known you guys for a very long time. I've been very grateful to know you. I've really connected with you guys and your music as well. Your music definitely touched me, and it's amazing. But so I want to show you guys. These are some really crappy photos from a phone picture back in the day. This was. I don't even remember where it was, to be honest with you.
Is that the Blue Note?
Blue Note, yeah, in Harrison. Yes, you are correct.
I can't believe I remember that.
And then there you are, Garrett. I remember going off the bass for me.
Is that the same show?
That was the same show, same night, yes.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Can't believe it.
It was a fun night. And then you guys came back around, and I was so excited because you got to play with Life after this, who is the band that is donating the merch for tonight's game.
Yeah. I remember.
And then you did a video about the Thompson House, and everybody knows the Thompson House and how creepy it is. So
yeah,
I have to play this video about you guys being at the Thompson House.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So here you guys go. Check it out.
Oh yeah, they still in there. Where you think I'm at? Fuck them.
That's what would really happen.
Oh shit.
That was a dope video.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah, props to Freddie on that one.
Yeah, Freddie did great.
Immediately makes me think of there was a sign. There were signs on the wall that said "No jumping."
Upstairs, because Thompson House has three different areas where you can play at, three different stages, and you guys were upstairs.
Yeah. It said "No
Watch
jumping."
closely. You'll see me in that front video up there crossing out.
Kirk Michaels. I'll never forget seeing you guys on the top floor of the Thompson house. I thought for sure we were all gonna fall through.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Ryan? I know Ryan. I saw him in the comments. What's up,
Yeah,
dude?
Ryan.
Hey, what up? What up?
Yeah, super awesome times for sure.
That Blue Note show, that first picture you had, that was Zach's first ever show with us. And
remember,
shout out to Terry Baumgartner for setting that show up. He that was not only Zach's first show, but Terry hooked us up with catering that night, and that was the first ever show where we actually had like nice catering and like a separate nice dining hall room. It was like Zach walked into like luxury, and we had to make it very clear to him that does not happen on a regular basis. This is not a thing, sir. Don't get used to this.
Right.
That's hilarious. I remember that change with you guys with Zach coming in, and I was talking to Zach about his influences and how he was in some more metalcore kind of music and all that. And then he came in with super grace within a metal term, you know?
Yeah.
And he was amazing, and I loved it. He was the man. He fit the part.
He still listens to nothing but Slipknot all the time.
Yeah, and Backstreet Boys.
And Backstreet Boys.
And he still gets picked on in the tour bus, huh?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
That man has tattoos on his knees. It's never gonna. It's permanent.
Oh, Zach. But yeah, gosh, you guys are so amazing. I can't tell you our listeners enough that you guys need to be checked out. So what I want to kind of go over with this music industry thing and growing together. So do you guys have any tips, or what would you kind of like tell people, whether it's contracts, whether it's music videos, anything on the Facebook planet? What would you tell people?
That's a tough question. I'm a pretty blunt person, so I'll be really honest here. I think that there's really not a lot of things that you need a label for anymore. I don't think that most bands need a label. I think that especially if anybody in your band, this is going to sound weird, but if you have good credit, or if anybody in your band has good credit, like that's really what a label helps you with. They allow you to get financing and stuff like that to do the things you want to do. What the label really gives people an advantage on is they take the risk on. So if the project fails, it's not like you're out a ton of money. But in my opinion, if you really believe in your project and you feel confident enough in it, then it's something that, if you're in that position, that you will probably feel, confident in pursuing that. I think that at that same token, though, a lot of people take digital media these days as like the end all be all, and like social media, I make 5 posts and now I'm, where's my Grammy? That's not the real world, in my opinion. I still, and maybe this is me starting to sound like the old guy, but I still think that going to shows and being personable with people and handing them something and telling them to check it out doesn't always click. It doesn't always click the very first time. There you will get a lot of people that'll tell you no and to F off and all this and that. They'll take your demo and literally throw it in the trash can next to you. But those people will get your demo 5 or 6 times because they go to local shows, and then they'll start checking it out, and then your stuff will continue to grow. So I think that persistence and then just believing in yourself ultimately is my TLDR there. But yeah.
Absolutely. I would say definitely consistency. And I mean, and when I say consistency, I don't mean DMing people check this out. Don't spam people for sure, but getting out and making that face-to-face connection with people is so important. And to even go back a little bit further than that is just recording and getting your ideas out there and getting them like down. Just, I think a lot of people shoot themselves in the foot before they even get started, by not even ever getting themselves recorded or writing it down. You know what I mean? So I would say get it written down and do whatever you can and what you need to do to get it recorded and share it with your friends and family and just love what you do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There you go. And one thing I've encountered this week is utilizing resources that's given to you. Utilize those resources because they will benefit you. Don't blow them off as somebody's trying to do a hand me out or whatever. They're resources and they're there for a reason.
100%.
Don't just send a like, send a conversation before that like.
Garrett, you do a lot of the social media work, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I'm not going to lie, and some people probably recognize this. All the guys do, definitely. But since COVID, I haven't been on social media a lot, and I've been slacking on the pages pretty bad. It's something that we talk about a lot. I need to get back on it. But yeah, it's something I did pretty regularly. I think consistency really is key, and right now it's I kind of beat myself up about it a little bit because I haven't been as consistent. But yeah, consistency definitely is key in the social media game because algorithms are everything, and a lot of people, again, take for granted that if they make their 5 posts, it's oh, now I'm in the algorithm, but that's not really how it works. It's really you have to eat 3 to 6 months of poor reach, and then you'll start to get, the boon, of it, and you'll be able to start moving that forward. So yeah, there's a lot of push in it all.
Yeah, it can be mentally draining.
It can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be, especially when you have families and you have kids and all that, and that's when it really starts to get into your head. But you guys really seem really focused and dedicated to it, man. And you had me when you mentioned, Garrett, about creating the pieces of paper, the covers, and creating everything, putting it in the CDs, putting it all that in, because you guys are the band that if I go out to a show, I'm gonna go up to your merch table and say, "Hey, give me a hard copy of your disc or your CD, whatever you have." And I'm also gonna be that guy, "Hey, can you just sign this one, and then I'll buy that one because that one's gonna go in my album collection." Because you just never know. These days, things happen so fast.
Sure.
So get the autograph, get the conversation going before you're like, "Oh, I wish I woulda."
Yeah, that's true, man. We definitely appreciate you saying that, and to your point, that actually made me think of our drummer. To Roxy's point as well, or Roxy's point this side. Utilizing your resources. We actually, Steve, who was our drummer for a while, he got a demo at a show from me. I handed him multiple demos that he threw away until finally he listened to it and was like, "This is dope." And when our our bassist actually at the time left and I moved to bass, it was only because of us doing that we were able to just quickly grab another member right away, fill it in, and it was like nothing ever happened. We had a CD release show booked at the time. 2 weeks later from the day he joined the band, we practiced at his house 4 days a week for 2 weeks straight until he learned the set. It was a very rough show, but it was awesome. And the DJ of the local radio station got hammered and took his shirt off and ran around on stage. And that's all that anybody remembered. Nobody needed to know that Steve didn't play well. Everybody just needed to know that Cornbread took his shirt off. So.
It's wild.
So, we're gonna be closing up the show now. We've went a little bit past our time frame. Whoopsie, but that's okay because Discrepancies is the most amazing band ever, and you need to check it out. I want to touch base again on this little Easter egg and the hints I've been giving you. So I'm gonna flat out point it out to you without pointing out to you.
How did you do that?
Right here, boom. Where's their new album at? What's their new album? Rise, right? So find it, tell me where it is, and you got $50 in your pocket.
Zach, message Roxy immediately. Zach,
Screenshot and circle it.
All right, so you guys have been amazing. I've got the Discrepancies shirt on.
Hey,
you're the best.
And this one's hilarious, I gotta say.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. I love it.
We've had that shirt forever.
So
Both of those are
everybody,
throwbacks.
check out Discrepancies. But I gotta wrap up the show because we're a little bit late. Thank you guys so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having us. Thank you so much.
You guys are absolutely awesome, man. And I'll be airing you guys' music more and more on the podcast too. And I'll have Roxy send you links for all that stuff also too.
Awesome. Thank you, dude.
Thank
you guys so much.
Dude,
Really
man,
appreciate
honestly.
it.
Awesome.
So one person said, where's it at? You guys gotta come this way. You gotta come this way.
So I can work that out. Let me work that out.
Yeah, let's work that out.
Make it happen.
Make that happen.
Yeah.
Because we want to get out of this town.
We're opening back up here, so we'll bring you happily. We'll make it worth your while. So definitely come see us. Everybody will be there rocking out with you guys. So.
Sweet.
All right. So thank you again, everybody. I'm going to say goodbye to Discrepancies with Garrett Antonio. So check out discrepanciesmusic.com. Find them on Facebook and Instagram. And also check out AntonioTheGreat.com. All right.
Thank
See you, fellas.
Heck yeah. Thank you guys so much. Seriously. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Antman, can you tell us?
Show.
Oh my gosh, that was great. I love those guys.
Yeah, like, you know, sitting back and getting to know people like that and experiencing what other bands are doing is like what it's all about, you know. We dive into the hard stuff, but we also tread in the shallow stuff and get to hang out with bands and get to do it. You know, it's fun, man. It's different every week. Next week we got Mr. Terry Douglas. Not only is he a well-known country artist here in Ohio, he's getting ready to set out on his own and spend the whole next part of 2022 on the road. So we're going to be talking about what that's going to be like. And, you know, we're going to be getting it hard with Terry next Monday. It's going to be awesome. So stay tuned for that next week, Monday, 9 p.m. with Mr. Terry Douglas.
Nice. Sounds like an amazing show. So only one last thing to cover for tonight, right? The $50 giveaway.
$50 giveaway. If somebody in the comments had it right, but we can't just go. Are we doing that? Are we just taking the comment there? Or are we gonna make them work? Make them sweat.
First person to actually state it correctly, they were on the right trail. So
right,
a little more detail, and you got it. So
I want to acknowledge the smartness in the chat. I don't want anybody thinking. And thank you everybody for all the comments, support, and weighing in on that, man. Feel free to encourage you guys to, you know, participate, ask questions in the chat. If we don't know the question, we'll find the question. There's no such thing as a dumb question. So we invite everybody out there to like, share, subscribe, and be a part of the RA Nation community.
absolutely. We're going to learn and grow together in this new world of music because things are a little bit different now after the pandemic, and we're going to make it together as a community, as a team. Unity, right?
Absolutely. Yep. And it all starts with washing your hands and spraying down your keyboards.
Exactly. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern time on
Roxy.
We'll see you on W4CY Radio or Talk4TV.com, as well as Music Familia Productions. So stay amazing, my friends.
See you guys.